continues. Spread this message right now. Portugal, spread this message. Italy, spread this message. Spain, spread this message. Wherever black people are, spread this message. United States, the 54 states, spread this message. I don't want to mention the name because you know already what's happening every single Sunday here. So, without further ado, just a quick bio about your road, about your journey. Just a quick bio about your journey, because when we saw the video, we saw different codes, different personality. We saw Master J, warrior, right there, as you can see. We saw Master J, politician, as you can see. We saw Master J, commander, general. We saw Master J as hip-hop. Then we saw a Master J of the racist white media trying to demonize. We saw different Master J. That's what we did the research. So, in your own words, can you just describe who you are, a short bio about yourself? Because at times, I'm asking the question to the other camera. I'm asking the question to the other camera. You might not see me lateral. So, because I'm asking the question to this camera here. And then once you answer, I can turn around. So, just a quick bio about your road until today.
Well, it would be unfair and uncivilized for me to even begin to talk about myself without first acknowledging and greeting all of my brothers and sisters that are not in one place, but that are spread around the world. You are more than they want you to believe. So I bid a shalom, a good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world, to the 82 million brothers and sisters in Brazil, the 46 million brothers and sisters in the United States, the 9 million brothers and sisters in Haiti, the 5 million brothers and sisters in Colombia. I have to talk to all of my brothers and sisters across the entire continent of Africa. You are not divided by the lines that they divided for you. You are still inherited to the motherland, and I see you as one, as my brothers and sisters. To all of the folks in the other parts of the world that may see this later, whether it be Jamaica, Mexico, Peru, Canada, Cuba, Italy, Spain, all across Europe, the UK alone, all throughout the South Pacific, I have to greet you all as one family, because we've been brainwashed to believe that we are separate, because they know that our unity is our primary weapon and our rage backs it up. You have watched what they would call the radicalization of an individual. Someone who was born and raised as a descendant of the African descendants of slavery, raised in a post-slavery United States, who believed and brainwashed into believing all of the values of Western civilization. However, through the treatment as an African-American descendant of slavery and as a member of the melanated global family, I have gone through a series of changes in my life that have pushed me to the position that I am today. So yes, as you've seen in those videos, I started off a dedicated citizen who served his country in the military and believed in all of the things that they told us. We did not know any better. We were still asleep. And then you saw me metamorphosize into becoming someone who figured that he could make a change in this world simply by holding hands and working along with the very people that all of my predecessors attempted and ended up shot and killed. That didn't work. And then you saw me try to go the other route. Well, maybe I'll just try to rise to political power, not only to help my people, but to help the global situation around the world. As you can see, they blocked that out. That didn't work. And now, so all of these things happen. I'm still buffered by the winds of change, buffered by the winds of police brutality, buffered by the winds of racism, buffered by the winds of a destruction of the black family, the black community, black finance. I'm buffered by those winds. And eventually it occurred to me that instead of trying to save everybody and get us to this kumbaya, we all get along, why can't we hold hands world, I began to see that there was someone being left out. Someone was being cast to the side so that they wouldn't be a part. And that was us. And when I say us, I'm talking about you too. No matter where you are in the world, I'm talking to you too. The time for us to stop treating each other like we're different. The time for us to stop hating someone just because they fly under a different flag. When we all fly under the melanin flag. When we're all part of diaspora. Most people don't know that the word diaspora is Greek. It literally means the scattering. So we've been scattered around the world. Whether you are a believer of the 12 tribes or not, you have been scattered. Those winds, in fact, transformed me into what you see sitting in front of you today. A combination of the politician, a combination of the warrior, a combination of the teacher, a combination of the philosopher, a combination of someone who wants to rebuild the great black civilization that we had on this planet before the invasion and the occupation and the emancipation and the feminization of the once mighty black race, which comprised of black man kings and black queens. That is who we are, and that is who you see sitting before you. You can call me any names, I don't care. I am that I am. And because of that, I have stepped into the shoes filled by my ancestors, filled with the spirit of all of those who come before me to bring you a message of greeting. And that the reason that I'm here is not what I've done. It is who I am and who we are in this moment. So I bid you all worldwide shalom.
Brothers and sisters, give me the camera. So what I want you to do, today we're going to be asking questions. And then I need you. So you can help me to ask questions too. So all I need you to do, as you can see in your flyer, right on your screen, because you can listen to us on the Radio Diamond, go to the Radio Diamond page. You can also send us text. So you can, the question that we're asking today, that we're going to be asking to our special guests, right there on your screen. This is the question that we're asking. This is the topic of our show today. So the destruction of the black family worldwide is happening. It's happening by police brutality, prison system, vaccination, feminization of the black man, food and water poison, my brother. Food and water poison, land invasion, and media. So this is the question that we're going to be asking to our special guest. So you can also do the same. So you can send us the message on WhatsApp right now. As you can see on your screen, the number is +44-778-00-75693. We're not going to open up the line because I know if you open up the line, it's going to take us all day. And then our special guest is busy. And then we're also busy. So we want to go straight to the point, brothers and sisters. And we're going to twist it. The topic is right there. Who's to blame for all this craziness? Who's to blame, brothers? I'll repeat again. The destruction of black family, black/African family worldwide is happening. I don't care what you believe in. The destruction of our family happening by African spirituality, police brutality, prison system, vaccination all over the world, feminization of the black man, food and water poison, and land invasion. So we really start asking before we go to the blames. Who's to blame? Who should be held accountable for all this craziness? It is important because we have to blame both sides, but we have to check ourselves too. So I begin to ask, let us describe the police system, the police department. Let us go to the police department in the United States. Let us go back to the history. The police system is really built to care for other people or it's just been built to oppress and to control and to maintain the privilege of those who raped us, beat us, stole everything from us. So this is the question that we start with our special guest. Help us to describe the role and the history of the police in the United States. And this is the question we ask to our special guest.
You have to understand the origin of the practice of policing, because when we try to dig down into who's to blame, it's not so much who's to blame, because that's pretty obvious who's to blame. If you're in denial about who's to blame, there's enough blame to go around for everybody, because we're all implicit in our own self-inflicted genocide. But at the beginning of that process, it starts with the imprisoning of human beings. If you study our ancient history, if you study the 25 dynasties that existed before the Caucasus were to invade Africa, you would find out that we had a lot of different crimes and punishments, but none of them involved putting a person in a cage. We never believed in that. You paid for your crime and then you went on, or your life was taken and we went on, but we never put you in a cage. Now that that practice has started, why are we putting people in cages? And this is the rise of the police. If you study the Portuguese slave trade, it involved the taking of human beings, putting them in a cage, and then treating them like an animal, treating them like property, reducing them down to something that we call thingifying, where you are no longer considered a human being. So the practice of policing grew out of the model that somebody has to be the zookeeper. Somebody's got to round up the property. Somebody has to be in charge over what has now become a mentality that you are inferior and we are superior, therefore we know what's best from you. That is the mentality that sprang out of a conquering race, a barbaric race, a race that wanted to possess your riches but not possess you, a race that wants to be great like you but doesn't want to do the work that you did. They rather stand on your shoulders. So the best way to get rid of you is to put you in a cage, take over your resources, tell you how to live, and should you rebel, let that same institution kill you. Let that same institution lie on you. Let that same institution become the Praetorian Guard that enforces the will of the very group that seeks your destruction. There are a lot of you listening to me worldwide right now who believe that the institution of policing was created to serve and protect. I have to ask you this question. Serve and protect who? Serve their masters. Protect what? Their property. You are the enemy. You are being treated like the enemy, because if they don't treat you as the enemy and they treat you as an equal, you might want to change the model of policing. So policing started off, especially in the United States, as the slave patrol. 16 years old to 50 years old could go out and capture a slave for $20 American. Or if you kill them, you got a little bit more, but they didn't want you to damage the property. The art of policing, allowing someone else to tell you how to live and take you away if you don't live accordingly, stems from the slave trade. Now, what we have today are different variations of it around the world, but it's still the same. Someone shows up, says you're wrong, and if you don't agree, you can be killed. The problem now that we're facing today is, after all we've been through, well, globally, we've gone through a pandemic, we've gone through a worldwide quarantine, we now have high unemployment everywhere. We're now seeing a resurgence as folks compete for those resources at the expense of killing you, utilizing this mechanism they call the police. It's not just in the United States. It's happening in the UK. It's happening in Canada. It's happening all across the continent of Africa. It's happening in South America. Just because they don't look white does not mean that white is not backing them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. To my brothers in Jamaica, we know that the Chinaman is trying to ease in, but who do you think gave him the ability to ease in? To the folks in Africa, we know that the white man and the Chinaman are trying to ease in, but how do you think those doors got open to ease in? Either way, how do they enforce it? They utilize what they call the police. When there was a time when we policed ourselves, we took care of ourselves. We imposed penalties on ourselves as if we are capable of governing ourselves, and such a time has arrived that we are back in that position. So rather than question the origin of the police. We need to understand and determine what is the final disposition of the police that treats us like enemy combatants. We are at war. They are the soldiers. What are you going to do?
Wow. So going back to the prison system in America. So we're going to we start in America and we go through all over the world. The prison system in America is pretty much locked up all about great soldiers. So what is your take on the police system, the prison system in general in the United States?
Well, you have
How do you see
the prison system.
If it's ever going to be changed?
Yes, my brother. The prison system in America is unique when you understand the history of this place they call America. In order to free the descendants of slaves and have them freed into this country, they came up with an amendment to their Constitution. You all can go read it. I don't have to read it for you, but somebody, you got the Constitution? Okay, the 13th Amendment to the Constitution says, let no man be a slave unless he's a criminal. So they put a loophole in there. So immediately upon freeing you from the plantation, they then turn around and accuse you of a crime. Now you're a criminal. So we can treat you like a slave again. So the point and the initiative to incarcerate African-American descendants of slavery stems directly out of the fact that they lost the ability to enslave us. They do not want to share in the resources that they have built on our backs. So they put a clause in their Constitution that would benefit them by making us criminals. So what has happened is a disparate number of black Americans have been placed in prison for trivial matters, whereas white folks are slapped on the hand. The driving force behind that is because you were $3.6 billion worth of money when you were slaves to them. They lost all that money. Now you're walking around just free and they can't do nothing about it. But they really don't want to share with you. So our prison system is built on the fact that there's a loophole in our Constitution that makes it legal to treat you like a slave again, though you're not supposed to be a slave again, but you are a criminal. Now, on top of that, what has happened is there is now a system in place where they figured out if we can get these people in prison quicker, we can weaken them as a people, which goes to the core of what we're going to talk about later is the destruction of the black family, the destruction of the black community, the destruction of black unity. How do you do it? Through separation. How do you do it? Through incarceration. How do you do it? By over-policing. How do you do it? By unfair appliance of the law. So in America, it has reached a tipping point where they're trying so hard to get us into this system. You know, we have more black men behind bars right now than we had in slavery. Do you understand what they've done? So for us in the United States, it is a disguised way to put us back into a subjugated position. Now let me expand that. Worldwide, there used to be a time in a lot of these different countries that you live in where policing was supposed to be a serve and protect. But what has happened is America has joined forces with other puppet regimes around the world to learn this model of policing now. American police officers are trained in Israel. Okay, they're using commando tactics on American people. They're agreeing with pacts and coalitions. So now what you're seeing is a homogenization of policing that looks a lot like American policing, which is all designed to keep the melanin person at a lower status in the world, to keep the melanin person viewed as a criminal. See, there are multiple pieces working together here. It's not just the prison system. Who talks about the prison system for us? The media does. The media constantly paints a picture of brown people as being criminals. The media constantly highlights the mistakes of the black man, but never highlights his successes. That's why you haven't heard about Stone Mountain, because that was a success for the black man. That was a show of unity by the black man and the black woman. They're not going to talk about that. If we can keep you thinking that all blacks are criminals, then you won't mind when we start marching them off to prisons and then getting rid of them. It is all a part of a global genocide program.
Wow. Go straight to the feminization, because one of them big job, if you're free, that's what they say, if you're free, they're feminized. We've seen brothers and sisters all over the world. So feminism, they're promoting all this rainbow color. So what is your take about the feminist People now start freaking out. People now start panicking, asking questions. Where does these militias come from?
This is
what's going on in the United States? So the question we're going straight forward. Talk to us about the feminization. This is
going to hurt. This is going to hurt. And what I'm going to say is probably going to be like throwing holy water on a demon. It is supposed to hurt because it is nothing but the truth. Those of us, no matter what you practice, you are children of the Creator. Everyone. We don't care what you call them. There are 101 names for the Creator, and we have perverted belief systems so much that people believe that they can do what they want to do, but they fail to study the ancient writings that come prior to any of these civilizations existing, that we've done all this before. Let me cut to the chase. An effeminate black man is unthreatening. The black man in his natural state is the most fearsome, the most dangerous, the most warrior-like, the most powerful, the most intelligent creature to walk the earth. And you stop and think about centuries after centuries, they could never defeat us. We were the vanguard of our race. We defended our kingdom so that our queens and our children could grow to an inheritance. We were the most powerful, mighty warrior that walks the planet. Our melanin thus says it so. So, the only way that they can see us continually to exist in this world was that they had to do two things to us, black men. I'm talking to my black brothers around the world. The first thing they had to do was take you out of your position of authority. Even though we were fine with it after all these years, all of a sudden they began to start the propaganda and the brainwashing. They attacked our sisters' mentality. They did it here in the States. Y'all remember back in the day, for those in America watching, they started pushing this narrative that there were no more good black men. They started pushing the narrative, you don't need no black man. But they wasn't telling that to their own kind. They told you that you can do it without the black man, but they wasn't doing it with their own kind. They was telling you if you want to be helped and move ahead in this society, you got to get rid of the black man. But they didn't do that in their cultures. The end result of that was the brainwashing worked. So first they broke up the black structure, the black family structure. Then they turned around and began to push this image as if the black man himself should doubt himself, that the black man should not walk in his black power and his masculinity for the preservation of his race. They made you feel like it was a threat to all if the black man cared or loved of his own people. Like I love all of you. I don't care what you've done, who you are, or how you feel about me. You are my brothers and sister. You are my blood. If all of us left, they would have us in a museum talking about once upon a time. We're not going to let once upon a time happen because we are the ones, the black man, it is written, has three responsibilities. And the very first one is the preservation of your race. So the effeminization of the black man removes that. Because once a black man no longer functions as the stalwart, as the warrior, as the defender, as the procreator of the strong black seed with the black woman, then you destroy the nucleus of the black race. So of course you got to have black men who don't desire black women. You have to have a black man who doesn't want to live out the masculinity that is given to him by the Creator. You have to have a black man who thinks that it's okay if his bloodline ends right here because nobody understands him. I am not going to dig into the mental health aspects of any of those things. People are free to do what they choose. We all answer to Sheol in the end. But what I am going to say, if you are under the impression that there is no agenda to push the image through media, through music, through all of the images to our children in our schools, that the black man in his natural state is something you should shy away from, then you have become a victim of the feminization of black men. Look at what they put on TV. When was the last time you saw a strong black family represented where you got a strong black father, strong black mother, strong black children in a strong black community, and it's entertaining? No. Every time they show you a brother, he's hooked up with another brother, I'm assuming another white man in this case. They don't even give him a brother no more. They slide him up with a white man. But they're in a relationship. They push this image so that people think that it's the majority when it's only 8% of our population. Most of our brothers are not buying into that. So with the rise of things like NFAC, with the rise of the warrior spirit, we're now seeing what they've done. So this effeminization of the black man and telling you that it's okay for you to be any way you want, that's fine, but without understanding the consequences, the long-term consequences of our race surviving, because be fruitful and multiply did not mean be fruitful and stop right there. Be fruity, whatever you want to call it. I know some people are going, I can't believe he said that. It needs to be said. You see, there are two things that are going on in this world. One of those is the struggle for someone to practice a certain sexual behavior. That is your business. We cool with that. But our struggle is the struggle to be treated as an equal human being. And we don't mix with that. We cannot, because this struggle has been going on for 5, 6, 7, 8,000 years. And the last time I checked, when they came over to Ghana, when they came over to Lagos, when they came over to Nigeria, when they came to the West Coast, they didn't go into Africa saying we're looking for gay black people. They didn't come in saying we're looking for trans white black people. They came in and grabbed black people. You understand what I'm saying? And then when you got to America, they didn't break you down. They put everybody on the plantation. When in the brainwash for the effeminization of black men to make you shy away from your masculinity is to tell you that you've been oppressing your sisters, that your sisters need to get free. That is not our argument, and it never was. We're not the ones that had our women under any type of oppression. We're slaves just like them. So who are you trying to get free from? What you've done is you bought into the narrative, because the white man has always treated his woman in a lesser fashion. Y'all jumped on board with that, but we got to get the black man out the way first. The black man can't love his women no more. Black man can't care about his family no more. The black man can't care about being strong no more. The black man can't think about being mentally on front no more. We need the black man to worry about his fingernail polish and his high heels, and it's okay to accept a lifestyle that is contrary to our culture.
Brothers and sisters, you gotta tune in on this one. So I got flooding questions coming in. Brothers and sisters, I want you to share. Yes, we totally lie everywhere, and then record it. As I say to you, record it, because we just spread it. We don't care about it. We care about you get the information and then pass on to the next one. Download it, spread it, because at times we get out of control with our messages. So that's why we spread it all over. Platform. And thanks, Sister She in Atlanta. What about the black women? Black women have been tortured. Black women have been restricted. Black women have been violated. They're right. So ask the brother about the black women. Black women is the foundation of the family. So right now we got our black women still standing. Some of them they're standing. So Brother Jay, what is your take about the black women?
The black woman,
in our communities?
And I'm saying this to the world, and I want every black woman, no matter where you are in the UK, no matter where you are in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, Haiti, all down through that way, every black woman on the continent of Africa, you are the cornerstone. You are the gateway. You are the true secret of our power. The black man is only as powerful as the black woman is uplifted. So they figured that out a long time ago. You possess the ability to create any type of human being. Nobody else has that ability. You are resilient. No matter what is placed on your shoulders, you keep on standing. And just as y'all saw with me, even when your black kings are short on hands and have to charge into battle, you are right there beside us, ready to wage war. You, the black woman, are the one, and this is written, that only a black woman can create a real black man. And what that means is not just give us birth. With a real black woman in your corner, brothers know what I'm about to say. With a true queen in your ear telling you you can do it, black man. With an intelligent sister telling you you might want to think that over before you do that. When you have a black woman who is strong enough That she is not only your helpmeet, not helpmate, helpmeet. They meet you in the middle. That individual is also the person who is going to be the gateway and the portal that's going to produce your heir. Those genes will produce the next leader. So the black woman is the key to all of this, because they figured out if we can separate the black woman from the black man has nowhere else to go to continue his heritage. He has nowhere else to go to produce another heir. There'll be no more Shaka Zulus. There'll be no more Hannibals. They all came from a black woman. The most powerful kings that sat on the throne had to come through the womb of the black woman, or they could not sit on the throne. What has happened since then is that now that they recognized our power struggle and our power structure, they have attacked the black woman. They have eliminated the majority of the black men from their positions of power. And now they've moved to a place where now they try to tell the black woman, you're doing fine. You've got an education that we gave you. You've got a job that we gave you. You've got money in your pocket that we made. You're doing fine, black woman. You don't need the black man. Don't worry, we'll take care of him. He's a problem anyway. But what they've now is showing the black woman is that we lied to you, because we still gonna rape you. We still gonna hang you. We still gonna brutalize you. We still gonna lie on you. We still just want you dancing for us and showing off your precious body so that we can be entertained. But what we will not allow you to do, black woman, is we will not allow you to sit in your queenly position to continue your race, because that is counterproductive to us dominating you. So the black woman has been brainwashed while the black man has been incarcerated. The black woman has been given the false security that you have moved ahead. Yes, you have all those educational degrees, but they don't translate to any type of financial benefits for us as a people. They're just certifications for you to go work for the white man. So to all my sisters around the globe, that time has come to an end. Sisters, I need y'all to band together, stand together, and get behind your black kings as we rebuild a global black world. What I'm getting at, and I've said this before, we will not sit in our appropriate position of power until I can sit down and say that I, you, and everyone else is a member of or a citizen of the United States of Africa, which still is a lot of work. But at the same time, there'll be no more warriors or kings or queens unless we uplift the black woman and uplift her by herself, not along with everybody else. This is not we're lifting up all women. Before you lift all women up, let's lift up the ones who've been kept down the lowest. Before we lift up women, let's make sure we pull them up to the level where we can lift y'all up together. See, they want everybody to lift while you still in the basement. They up on the 5th floor saying lift us up, but you downstairs in the basement. So to the women who are under attack worldwide, whether it be through your sexuality, whether it be through your education, whether it be through your financial situation, whether it be through the emancipation of the black man from you, whether it be through the challenges that they continue to lay at your feet, you have to remember who you are, or you're going to be a casualty in a war while we will be like dead and gone. And that is what I believe that we're up against as a race, and this is what has happened to the black woman.
Wow. Brothers and sisters, I've seen questions coming in through, let me just make sure. I've seen questions coming in, but I need you to pay me one picture, brothers and sisters. Give me my camera. Give me this one here. I need you to do me one favor. I need you to do me just one favor, brothers and sisters. I need you to do me one favor. I need you to make sure you spread, right? Spread the message. Because we're tired of people saying, yes, we totally life. We're doing life right now as I'm talking to you. We're doing life right now. So I need you to, I got this camera. I need you to spread this message. Yes, the phone is +44, because that's a worldwide phone. WhatsApp phone. +44 778007563. So jump on real quick. Clinton, Michigan. Let's talk about the food and water poison. As you can see from all over the world, we got on one side Chinese folks giving us plastic rice, everything plastic, poisoning our water all over Africa. Go to Jamaica the same day. Now they're taking over the ports. Now they're taking over the food sector. Now they're taking over the water supply. Go to the United States, same question. Go to Clinton, Michigan. Ask the brothers over there. Go to New Orleans, ask the brothers over there. So that's the question we're going to ask to our special guest. Let's talk about the food and water poison. I'm through the food and water poison. That's why some of our brothers and sisters, they've been feminized it through all this. What is your take about the water?
We are
all over the world.
We are, and again I bid everyone shalom. We are the victims globally of a global organization and a global effort to do two things. And I've taught this before. You are what you eat. What you put into your body is what you are. And they figured out a long time ago that when they studied the good folks in Africa, when they studied the Moors that civilized Spain, when they studied those folks that were in Brazil, and Brazil is nothing more but Hebrew for bronze worker. When they studied all these people, they realized that they lived off the land. They had medicines that were based off of what grew in the earth. They found out that we were an organic people and a powerful people, and that between the sun, what was grown in the earth, and our water, it made us super powerful. So what they found out also was the very things that made us powerful was detrimental to their health. When they found out that they couldn't keep up with us, they had to come up with a way that if we can't talk them out of the picture, if we can't kill them out of the picture, if we cannot out-gene them out of the picture, then what we will do is poison them out of the picture. You have to have read the book Propaganda that was written back in 1928. And the same individual that wrote that book is the same person that convinced Americans that putting fluoride in your water was good for you. But don't we know better now? Because fluoride calcifies the pineal gland. I have a fully functional pineal gland. So please, my third eye stays open because I stay away from those chemicals. They then begin to realize that if they change the elements of your food, they can also affect what you are. There are huge companies like Monsanto that now serve you genetically modified organisms in your food. This is not something that came from the ground. This is not something that was grown by the Creator. Everything comes from a seed. I came from a seed. You came from a seed. So why are you eating seedless things? Those things are not real. And what they do once they get inside your system is that they corrupt your melanin and they pervert your cells. They're always talking about, oh, the cancer society, but they never do anything to pinpoint the sources of the cancer is what they feed you. So what they've done is they poison our water system. I spoke in Flint, Michigan during the 2016 presidential election cycle where they actually had us come before the citizens of Flint, and they've never shown this to the public. And one of the things that one of those folks asked me, and I'm going to tell all of your viewers, it was heartbreaking to me because some of those people could barely talk. You could tell they had been affected by something. They were smart one minute, then they would go somewhere else and they would come back. And they were all trying to tell us how bad it was. They're poisoning us up here. They're poisoning our water supply. It was done intentionally because when you can control the resources of a people, then you can control their final outcome. What I've just given the world is the definition of racist and racism. Let me help you all out. It is impossible for us to be racist. Here's why. If you understand the definition of the word racist, it means to control the final outcome of an entire people, meaning their existence, whether they eat or sleep, whether they live or die. We've never had that authority in the last 500-600 years. So if I can control your water, if I can control what you eat and whether you live or die, if I can control what type of medicine you give, if I can control what you believe, I am being a racist because I'm controlling an entire race. Now, if I don't like what you're doing to me, then I'm prejudiced against the behavior, which is my right. I don't have to like the abuse you're giving me, but I am not racist. If I love my people, it doesn't mean I hate you. It means I simply love my people. If I love my car, it doesn't mean I hate all cars. I just love my car. Y'all know how that is. If I love my child, it doesn't mean I hate your child. I just love my child. So to control us, there are multiple things being done to you, black people. They're coming at you from so many directions. Black people, and a lot of you all are fighting just one front when they are hitting you on all fronts. Food, water, and land are how you survive as a race. So if I poison your water, poison your food, poison the land, then what I've done is I don't give you any fertile place to grow. You will die in place. Are they poisoning the water here in America? Of course they are. Are they poisoning the water where you live in your country? Of course they are. Are they feeding? Just because something comes from a country or a company in America doesn't mean that we're all over here eating it. We are not. There are a great deal of us who have figured this out, and I need you all to do the same. Stop eating these things that are not designed for your system. Let me close this question right here, because you all have conveniently forgotten that at one time on this planet, there were two types of creatures. There was us, and then there's what you call the Neanderthals, who still can be traced in their bloodline today. We're not saying there's anything wrong with them, but they're a different creature. They have a different physiological makeup. Their DNA is based on sulfur. Our DNA is based on selenium. We are two different creatures. So when you go to try to live under these particular folks, you're going to find out that they're going to tell you that you're sick based on their physiology, but you're not. You're normal based on our physiology. The oil pressure in a Volkswagen is not as high as the oil pressure in a Lamborghini. So don't tell me I have high blood pressure because of what I'm eating, which benefits me and which is built for my system, because you want to see yourself as equal to me, and you are not. I can go lay out in the sun, and this melanin produces vitamin K because we're sun people. You come out in the sun and you burn up because you don't have any melanin. So all of a sudden you tell me sun is not good for us. So put on sunscreen. No, my friend. We are a peculiar and unique people. We need to respect that. We need to walk in it. And what we put in our bodies, we need to be more mindful of, once again, because we're letting someone else do it for us, and we're not doing it for ourselves. I hope I've answered your question.